Hello and welcome to C's Physics channel. I'm Steve, and today we're going to be looking at a mass hanging on a spring. In this case, we have a 13 kilogram mass hanging motionlessly on a spring, and here on Earth it stretches 0.65 meters. We want to find the spring constant. For the second part, we want to find how far would that same mass on that same spring stretch if it was on the moon. So go ahead, pause the video, try it by yourself, and when you're ready, I'll show you how I did it. Welcome back. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. First thing I did when I went to solve this is I wanted to write out all of the known variables that I have. So in this case, we know the mass, we know gravity both on Earth as well as on the moon, and we know the distance it stretched. The only things we're missing are the spring constant and how far it would stretch on the moon. So knowing that, I took that and then I drew a force diagram for the mass, and when I did that, we know it's pretty simple. We only had the force of gravity going down, and we have the force of the spring going up. And because we know it's hanging there, it must have no net force acting on it. So when we go to use Newton's second law, we know that the total acceleration is equal to 0. Since we know that the force of the spring is equal to negative kx, and that negative is really only there because it's always a restoring force. So if you stretch a spring, it'll always start pulling you back in, and if you squeeze a spring together, it's going to start pushing you back out. So it's always against the direction that the force is applied. And then we just set that equal to the force of gravity, and then we do a little algebra to solve for the spring constant. And when we do that, we find that the spring constant is equal to 198 newtons per meter. Next, we just take that same spring and we move it in the moon's atmosphere, and we use the exact same equation, except in this case, now when we are solving for mg, we use the gravity of the moon and solve for the distance stretched by the spring. And we set that up, and when we do that, we find that the distance stretched by the spring is equal to 0.11 meters. And this makes sense because we know that the acceleration of gravity on the moon is less than it is here on Earth, and so it shouldn't stretch quite as far. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. If you do have questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you like this video and it helped you, please like, subscribe to my channel for more content just like it. And until next time, have a great day.